Hi guys, so I'm just gonna keep on filming. I just filmed my library book haul. Hopefully that will already be up and you can go and check that out if you haven't already. So, do you remember when I said in my yearly goals for 2018 that I wasn't gonna buy many books and I was not gonna add to my TBR unless I'd read 5 books from my TBR? Yeah, that didn't happen. That already I blew that. I still want to try and minimize the amount of books that I buy for my TBR list this year. And I still, but you can see by the thumbnail I already got a lot of books this month. And then I remembered, first up, 8 of the 15 books that I bought this month are books that I already read, so they're not gonna be added to my TBR pile. That is something that I think is okay. I saw really good deals on this and I wanted to own these books, so I wanted to add them to my collection. 2, one of the books that I got was a brand new release that I couldn't wait for. And so I bought another book to get along with that because I didn't want to pay double shipping. It would be too expensive, but I ended up paying full shipping for that because it changed where I got my new release from, but that's another story. And I got a sequel to a series that I finished and a sequel to a series that I started on, and I wanted to get the next book in the series so I could read it as soon as I am ready for that. And then I got, yeah, let's just get into the books. My plan is for the future, I'm still gonna buy books if I need to read them right now. If I have a purpose of reading them, I have to get them, like for my Stephen King project. That's one of the reasons I got books. And for newer releases that I have to read, that I want to read immediately. And for the Booktube SF that's coming up, I know I'm gonna have to buy some books if I'm gonna be able to participate in all of the readings. But those I'm gonna read immediately, so they were not gonna be a part of my TBR shelf for very long. So hopefully I will still manage to get my TBR cut down by the end of the year, and I will still not be buying as much as I did the previous years. That's my goal. This whole 5-to-1 thing is not gonna work for me, but I'm gonna be a little more critical about the books that I buy than I was previous years. So let's get into the books, because now I've been rambling for 3 minutes about nothing really. Anyway, let's get into the books that I already own and that I got this month. First up, I saw a really good deal that I couldn't pass up of a whole series that I have read and I wanted to own. It is the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I got this for, was it £3.99 inclusive, and then plus shipping, which I think was £3, and that's usually what one book would cost, so that's what I got the whole series and shipping for. And I loved the Heroes of Olympus. It was, like, to me, a lot better than the Percy Jackson series, also because this series features my favorite Rick Riordan character, who is Leo Valdez. He will continue to be my favorite for forever. Anyway, first up I got The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and finally Blood of Olympus. These are books 1 to 5 of the Heroes of Olympus series. Another good deal I saw was, I already own the first book in the 5th season, Propene Earth trilogy, but I got Obelisk Gate and The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin for £2 each. These are brand new books and they were £2 on Amazon. I could not pass that up because usually these sort of books should be like £7. So this was more than half off and I couldn't pass it up, and I want to reread this series as soon as I can because I think there's so many things I missed in the audio. Because of the second person narrative, I think it works better if I read it rather than having it told to me. Or maybe I'll just read and listen to the audio at the same time when I get to the reread of this. And the final book that I got that I already read as well was Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the omnibus edition of the first 2 books in the Rare Revelation series. It features the Crown Conspiracy and Avampatha, which is book 1 and 2 in this series. And yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I gave it 4 stars and I'm really excited to get to book 2 in the series. Yeah, break. I love my coffee. When I finished that, I immediately went and bought Rise of Empire by Michael J. Sullivan, which is book 2 in the Rare Revelation series, and it contains book 3 and 4, which are called Nifron Rising and The Emerald Storm. And I'm really excited to get into the sequel, and this is just straight up good fantasy. It's sort of, you know, it has a lot of fantasy tropes, but I love it. I'm there for it. I love the characters, and I cannot wait to see what will happen in this book whenever I get to it. I would like to reread Theft of Swords before I get to this one, so that's also why I bought the first one. So we'll see when that happens. Hopefully it will be like for around the summertime, so I can get into this one afterwards. The next one I got is one you've already seen, if you've seen my TBR for February, but that is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna Maguire, the 3rd and final book in the Wayward Children series, and I loved book 2, and I enjoyed the first one, but I loved book 2, and I cannot wait to see what will happen in this one. This series is very popular, and I don't think I need to say a lot about it because it's been talked so much about on book 2. The other book that I wanted to get with this book, but I eventually ended up just getting it, is The Hanging Girl by Aileen Cook. I read With Malice last summer. Oh no, not last summer, the year before that. I read With Malice, and I really enjoyed this mystery thriller. The sort of unreliable narrative, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it, because she's got the memory loss, was really good, and I gave it 4 stars. And I also read Unraveling Isabel by Aileen Cook, which I also really loved and gave 4 stars. So I wanted to read more from this author, and so I got The Hanging Girl by Aileen Cook, which is about, I think, something with a girl who sees visions and something with tarot card readings. And that sounds super intriguing, and they're really short, so they're gonna be part of my Thriller-a-thon TBR because I really want to get to it really soon. The last 4 books, actually I was supposed to get 5, but one of these books sadly got lost in the mail. When I got the package, the package wrapping had been torn, like you could tell it had been cut with something, scissors or a knife or something. And the most popular book in that collection was gone, and it was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I have gotten refund of the money that I immediately went and contacted the sellers to tell them about what happened. They didn't have another copy, so they couldn't send a new one, but they did refund it with money back into my account. So that's okay. I'm just a little sad I didn't get the copy because I like the cover of that particular copy. I'll put the cover that I found up here, and I just really want to read that one, but I can read it from the library overdrive, so it's not that bad. But I found it for £3, so that was really cheap. No, not pounds, euros, and that's cheaper. So yeah. But the reason I got these books is because I needed Night Shift for my March Stephen King reading project, because that is a short story collection, and that's the next one Stephen King released in publication order, which this is really short compared to The Stand that I'm listening to right now, and I'm looking forward to getting to it. As I said, it's a short story collection, and so it features all of the sort of stories that Stephen King had been writing up until this point, and it has stories from Salem's Lot and other places, and I think it's gonna be really creepy, But I'm really looking forward to getting to this. So the other 3 books that I got, 2 of them were urban fantasies that I want to continue with. The first one of those being Magic Bleeds by Ilona Andrews. I have read 4 books by Ilona Andrews. I read the first 3 books in this series and I really wanted to continue it, but I didn't have the audios on Audible, except the first 3, which I find really odd. But I found this in the bargain bin for €2, and so I really want to get on with this series. This is really fun and has some a really kick-ass protagonist, and I know this is one of Shanna's favorite authors, and I just was hyped to get into this world again after hearing her talk so much about her writing. And I read Burn For Me in August and really enjoyed that, so I know I like the writing style, so I just want to get into it. And I really enjoyed the 3rd book where it left off, but I cannot wait to get into this world again. Another bargain bin book that I got was Stolen by Kelly Armstrong. I've read, I think, 8 books by Kelly Armstrong, 2 trilogies, and the first book in this series called Bitten, and I really loved the 2 trilogies. I was a little... With Bitten it was okay, but I've heard that this series is gets so much better as it goes, and I really want to get on with this. Some people have really praised this. They say this is their favorite urban fantasy series, so I really want to get on with this, and so I hope I will enjoy it when I eventually get to it. And the final book that I got this month for this haul is So You Want to Be a Wizard by Diane Duane. This has been talked so highly of by Rachel from Kalanadi, and it's she sort of compares it a little bit to Harry Potter, because it's about this girl who's finding a magical world and sort of has to train to become a wizard, and it just sounds super fascinating. The font is like super big, so it's one of those middle grade books, and it says in the back, something stopped Nita's hand as it ran along the bookshelf. She looked and found that one of the books had a loose thread at the top of its spine. It was one of those So You Want to Be a books, a series on careers. So you want to be a pilot and a scientist, a writer, but this one said So You Want to Be a Wizard. I don't believe this, Nita thought. She shut the book and stood there, holding it in her hand, confused, amazed, suspicious, and delighted. If it was a joke, it was a great one. Or if it wasn't, this is the first book in the Young Wizards series, and I just that little snippet, I already like the writing. And I really can't wait to get into this. And I think it has, I don't know, does it have more than 10 books? I'm not sure, but I'm really, really intrigued, and I cannot wait to read it and let you know how it is. If it's better than Harry Potter, maybe it is, you don't know. It's just like, it sounds so good, and Rachel talks so highly of it, so I cannot wait to get to it. And yeah. Do I really have to do this? Okay. So these, can I do this? Can I actually do this? Oof. Are the books I got in January. Ooh. And I'm not gonna get much until I find out which books I need to get for the BookTube SFF. If I can get it from the library, I'll read it from the library. If I can get it from Storytel, I'll read it from Storytel. I would like to mix it up so that I don't have to read everything, because I know I'm probably gonna be having to read a lot, because I only read 4 books for the 2017 releases that were SFF that I wanted to actually nominate, so we'll see. I will be a little bit more critical that if there's some certain young adult books, then I'm not gonna read them. It depends a lot on which books are being nominated. Anyway, this is the books that I got this month. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any of these books and if you've read them and you love them, and tell me which ones to start out with. Have you read any of the books? I have already asked this. Did you get any exciting books in January? Definitely let me know about that as well. I need to put these books down because they're heavy. And yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye!